Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Becca Rose and this is Beauty by Becca Rose. This is my first ever video, so please bear with me in the terrible audio as we go through this. If you aren't already, please go follow me on all my other social medias and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm begging. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and let me know how you feel in the comments down below. So if you're interested in seeing how I created this gold smoky eye, then please keep on watching. Alright, so let's get started. So the first thing I did was went in with the Ole Henriksen facial cream and Nurture Me. This is a good step for applying any sort of makeup, is making sure you completely moisturize your face. Even if you struggle with more oily parts of your face, having that consistent moisture, a controlled consistent moisture, really helps to create a flawless look on your face. And making sure that you completely buff that into your skin. You don't want to be picking up lotion in the middle of applying your makeup, okay? So then you're going to go in with the Professional Balm Pore Minimizer thingy by Benefit Cosmetics. This stuff not only smells wonderful, but it helps to give you a completely flawless appearance of the skin. And what I really like about this primer is that it can be worn completely by itself. So if you want to do a natural look, but don't want to look like you just rolled out of death, this would be a good choice. When you don't want to sit down and put on a full pancake of makeup, you could sit down and put on just a small quick layer of this primer and boom, you are set to go. Now that my rant is over, I like to do eyes before base, especially when I'm working on other people, because it makes it easier for cleanup. But these ColourPop shadows that I just showed you, I will come back to. But first, I'm going to go in with the Kat Von D Concealer in L5 Neutral, and I place that on her eyelids, and I use concealer instead of a actual eyeshadow primer for a couple of reasons. Number one, it's a lot easier to work with. Number two, you have more of a promising finish. And number three, it makes it easy for cleanup and it helps you to blend out eyeshadow later. So that's why I use concealer before any of you try to raid me to filth. But this also helps when you don't have any other sort of foundation or any other coloring on your face. If you use that concealer that you're going to be using later, it helps to blend everything together nice and seamlessly. But then I'm going to take and you set that with the RCMA Colorless Setting Powder so that you're not disturbing that concealer later on when you're putting down all your other foundations and whatnot, eyeshadows, what have you. You don't want to be picking up that concealer. That's your base. You want that base to be permanent. You don't want that to go anywhere, so make sure you set it to filth. So back to these ColourPop shadows is what I'm currently using. They are cream shadows, and I like to use cream shadows for when you want high pigmentation and for when you really want your look to last long. But these two colors is a very light tan brown and a nice orangey color. They're wonderful, wonderful transition shades. They're a good place to start, and using the cream will help you really set everything into place for later on, just kind of like the concealer. They both have the same sort of purpose. And because it's like the concealer, I'm going to go in with the Morphe 35F palette in the first two shades that are there and set those creams that I just laid down. I'm only buffing this into her crease, her entire crease, and a little bit of the outer portion of the lid. Doing this will help ensue that you have a nice flawless finish, and building colors will help really make sure that the blend is nice and perfect, and again, flawless. We're gonna flawless and seamless, words of the day. But then I'm going to take in the next two darker shades and do the same thing as before, blend it into the crease and into the outer portion of her lid, but in a smaller radius and on a completely different brush. Using a completely different brush will not only help to make sure that everything is blended, but picking up the different colors with different brushes will lay down those colors exactly. Using the same previous brushes is going to end up turning your look a lot lighter than you may or may not want it. And then I went in with a dome smudging brush, and it's a contour palette, actually, a very old contour palette, I should add. The original Kat Von D Shade and Light palette before she came out with them eyeshadows. Right when she came out with this palette, I got it. But it's the darkest color in her palette. It's sombre, sangria? Sure. I take this, and again, same idea, but I really just focus this mainly on the outer portion of her lid, trying to avoid blending it into her crease. We don't want to make her look like she got punched in the face, but we really want to intensify this look as best as we can. And then on an angled fluffy brush, we take and blend it with those first colors we laid down, and doing this will really help ensure that everything is blended perfectly. And again, emphasizing the different brush. So far in this eye look, I have used altogether 5 different brushes, and I'm about to use 6, 7. Yeah, it gets intense. I have a lot of brushes. I have a problem. I'm aware. But what I do is I'm going to take this concealer brush on another dome brush. Did I say concealer brush? Wow, I'm tired. It's 1 o'clock in the morning. I take this and clean up her lid with this so that when I lay down that gold later on, I have, again, a clean base to work with. But I don't want to make too much of a harsh line. I just want to clean up that one specific area, mainly the middle to inner corner of her lid, because that's where the color is mainly going to be focused. So that's where all of this comes in. But again, I'm going to set this with the RCMA powder. Yeah. Alright, well that was while my camera stopped recording. I ran into this problem a couple times. But I take the Tarteist Gel Cream Eyeliner by Tarte, and as you can see, I struggle with getting things to focus. It's one of my several difficulties I've been running into. But I take it on a small eyeliner brush, it's an angled eyeliner brush to be accurate, and give her a small wing. I didn't want anything too definite. And oh, look, what happened? My camera stopped recording again. I was loving life this day. But I finished that. I went in with the Makeup Forever liquid foundation. This is my new love affair in life. And I took this and blended it into her skin. And before anybody says anything, I realized that this washes her out. But it washes her out only on camera. In person, it worked beautifully with her skin, and I was very impressed with it. But if you're going to ask what I have in my hand, it is not a beauty blender. No, no, no. Those things are too expensive, and I don't think they're worth it. No offense to Beauty Blender. But what I did was I took the Morphe, it's actually a highlight and contour sponge, and I used that because I like using these especially on clients, because I don't like to use a brush because it gives too much pigmentation, I feel sometimes. But sorry, I got interrupted. But I like having that the points of this particular sponge. But as you can see, I'm going in again with the Kat Von D highlighter. Wow, I'm a train wreck today. Her concealer, an L5 neutral, gotta get it together. But I put those in obvious concealer areas under her eyes, the bridge of her nose, her forehead, her cupid's bow, and her chin. And buffed that into her skin with the same sponge that I've been using this whole time because I like doing that, especially when it already has foundation on there, because then you're not going to have just extremely highlighted parts of the face and then skin colored parts of the face, if that makes any sense. I'm kind of rambling. But yeah, same idea as before, just go in and buff it into the skin as you know. But then what I did was I took the RCMA powder again and went in and baked her under eyes. Now what this does is it helps prevent creasing the under eye, and it also helps your T-zone, it prevents your T-zone from getting oily too quick. If you just do a simple 1-2 with a regular brush of your setting powder, you are pretty much going to be stuck with an oily look for the entire day. So this is what I'm doing right now. What I just told you not to do, I'm doing it. But this is just to set the rest of her face because, again, same idea as that concealer on the eyes. You're going to have to set that liquid, otherwise it's going to oxidize and you're going to look like a Cheeto Puff. Not naming names, but y'all know who I'm talking about. But anyway, so you're going to go in and set the face like you normally would. And then I take this marvelous Morphe contour palette on this majorly huge fan brush and contour her face like normal. You know, contouring from the top part of your ear to between the mouth and nose. Not necessarily the corner of your mouth and not necessarily to your nose, but just kind of like happy medium. And I really like using this brush to contour with. I think it helps really give that flawless edge. You don't have an edge, like no straight harsh lines with this particular brush, and it's really nice to work with, and it's a miracle worker, okay? I just love it, okay? It's life, essentially, okay? So what I'm doing right here, as I was doing, I went under her jawline just a little bit, just to really define it a little bit, give her a little bit more of a sharper jaw. And if you're like me, hashtag double chin, you want to create your jawline by going over the side of your jaw just the slightest bit. You don't want to go over too much and end up looking like you have a beard, but just go over it just a little bit because then it'll really give you that edge that you are looking for. And if you are me and occasionally realize that you went a little bit too ham with the contour, you can take your setting powder and dust right over it and it'll look flawless. It's a good cheat, just so we're aware. And this contour brush, marvelous little thing, it's an actual contour brush. I use this to go over her forehead and parts of her temple, blending it into her cheekbones, just really all the other areas that needed a little bit of touch up and defining. I personally didn't feel like her forehead needed contour, but if you're going to contour one part of your face, you need to go the whole nine. So that's why I went in on her temples and blended it into not only her hairline, but blended it into that cheekbone contour just to really create that flawless look. And then once you feel like you've had her or him or whoever bake long enough, then you can go ahead and sweep it away. I just have to feel at this particular time that she had it on long enough. So then what I'm going to do is I take that brush and really buff out those edges. And what I'm doing here, which I really strongly dislike, I hate blush. I really have no love affair for blush at all. Literally, if you put one extra granule of blush on your brush, you look like you walked into a blizzard. But I take a eyeshadow stippling brush and I use this specifically to contour the nose with. Again, I didn't feel that she needed it, but again, if you're gonna contour one part of your face, you need to go along with the rest because your face is gonna look out of place and not right. And what I like to do that's also not a necessity is go over the bottom lip just a little bit with the contour powder because it really helps to plump your lips. Here, ladies and gentlemen, my camera, again, stopped recording as soon as I was about to do her eyebrows with this magical potion I discovered. But then I take the Blissful Highlighter by Ofra and I highlight her face with it. Now, before any of you say anything, I realized that it looks like I'm not doing anything. But I promise you, I am. This light that I was using was just trying to make me look stupid. But I promise you, this highlight was blinding on her face. It was just absolutely beautiful. Just, I loved it. But yeah, so then I went in with the Jeffree Star, the Lower Liquid Lipstick, and Androgyny. And I overdrew her lips just a little bit. I didn't want to do it too much. I didn't feel like, again, I feel like she doesn't need a whole lot of stuff. She doesn't really need makeup. I don't think anybody needs makeup, but that's another story for another day. But then once I was done with that, then I went in with the Ardell Demi Wispies lashes. These were nice and light and fluffy, and it really just completed the look and took it to a whole nother level. So yeah, if you guys enjoyed this look and liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Let me know how you think. And thank you for watching, and I will see y'all next.